So today, my name is Nur Fatina Biha binti Nazaruddin, and I would like to present about my research study on the influences of information search, attitude toward destination, and the social influence toward the intention to visit the heritage tourism destination at Langong Valley, Perak. So for my research study, I had been supervised by Dr. Khairul Najia binti Ahmad. Okay, so let's proceed with chapter 1, which is the introduction. So this research study has been conducted to understand the factors that can influence the intention to visit the heritage tourism destination at Langong Valley, Perak, Malaysia. So the three factors that I had focused on is the information search, attitude toward destination, and also the social influence. Okay, next we proceed with the problem. So the different perception from individual tend to give an impact toward understanding their behavior. So that is why I come up with this study to understand what is the factors that affect the most toward their intention to visit the heritage tourism destination. Okay, this is the objective of this study. The first one is to identify the relationship between information search and the intention to visit Langong Valley, Perak. The second one, to study the relationship between attitudes and the intention to visit Langong Valley, Perak. And the last one, to describe the relationship between social influences and the intention to visit Langong Valley, Perak. So this is all the objective for my research study. Okay, so this is the framework for my research study. So basically, I want to know how does this independent variable, which is the information search, attitude toward destination, and the social influence, affecting the dependent variable, which is the intention to visit. So this is the research hypothesis for my study. Hypothesis 1. Information search is positively related to the intention to visit the heritage destination. Hypothesis 2. Attitude toward destination is positively related to the intention to visit the heritage destination. Hypothesis 3. Social influences is positively related to the intention to visit the heritage destination. So basically, this is all the hypotheses for my research study. Next, we move on to chapter 2, which is the literature review. In this chapter, all this term that has been used has been identified and defined accordingly. Next, we move on to chapter 3, which is the methodology. For this study, I had adopting a quantitative research approach and using a correlational research under the hypothesis testing. For my population, I had chosen a domestic tourist in Malaysia. To collect my data, I had using a Google form as my instrumental. And inside this Google form, there are 5 different sections, which is one for demographic profile of respondent and another 4 is for my variable, 3 independent and 1 dependent. For my data analysis, I had used a statistical package for the social science, which is the SPSS system, to run my data. So this is the instrumental that I had been choosing, which is the Google form survey. In this section A, it consists of question on the first independent variable, which is the information search. In this section B, it consists of question on the second independent variable, which is the attitude toward destination. For section C, it consists of question on the third independent variable, which is the social influences. For section D, it consists of question on the dependent variable, which is the intention to visit the heritage destination. In this last section in the instrumental, which is the section E, it consists of question on the demographic profile of respondent. This is the chapter 4, which is the data finding. Inside this chapter, all the data has been gathered by using an SPSS system. So the first one is the reliability test. So as you can see from the table, you can see that the Cronbach alpha value is reliable with a good and a very good result. This somehow shows that all the variables are reliable and can be used for this study. So this is the Pearson correlation analysis. So as you can see from the table, the independent variable 1 and the independent variable 2 are showing a moderate strength positive correlation toward the dependent variable, while independent variable 3 are showing a high strength positive correlation toward the dependent variable. So this is the multiple linear regression analysis, or MLR. As you can see from the table is the model summary. So from this value, which is the R squared value, it shows that the independent variable of information search, attitude toward destination, and social influences contribute 61.2% factors to intention to visit the heritage destination, while another 38.8% factors were not being measured in this research study, and it can be explained by another independent variable. So this is the coefficient of MLR. As you can see from the table, we will be focusing on the significance value. As a result, we can see that all independent variable was statistically significant, where all of its p-value was below 0.05. So this is the last chapter in my research study, chapter 5, Limitation and Future Studies. The first one is about the choice of destination. In this study, the researcher only focusing on one heritage destination. As a recommendation for a future study, the researcher should cover more than one heritage destination in Malaysia to get a large scope of study. Next is about the small number of sample size and cross-sectional study, which is shorter time. In the future study, the researcher might use a large number of sample size and use a longitudinal study, which is a longer time to get a data that is more accurate. Last one, this study only focusing on 3 factors. Perhaps in the future study, the researcher can use another factors to explain more in depth about the relationship. The last one is about the conclusion. In general, it can be concluded that the finding from this study regarding the factors, which is information search, attitude to a destination, and social influence, are statistically significant and positively related toward the intention to visit the heritage destination. Other than that, all the hypotheses is also supported. So that's all from me. Thank you for listening.